Hey guys, welcome back to Quick Notes with Chris on. Today we're going to be talking about the book Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. It's by John C. Maxwell, who's one of the best leaders whenever it comes to and authors on development of leadership, not just personal development in general, but specifically leadership. And this book highlights some of the questions that you should ask yourself, your team, questions that you should ask before you develop your decisions, dreams, goals, and actions. And overall, I just think it's a reasonably advanced book. So I definitely think that before you read into this one or look into this summary, you start looking back to maybe the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership before you go into this one, just because there are certain concepts that might be better understood if you first understand some of the laws first that he created on leadership. I definitely think that if you are an individual in a leadership position who has a little bit of doubts in terms of where the direction he or she might be going, I definitely think you should read this book, listen to this summary, and take away the best that you can. But I highly suggest that you do read the book, as there are so many concepts that I just won't be able to go delve in depth to in just a short period of time over this video. So basically, the first book starts off by saying it is better to look uninformed than to be uninformed. And honestly, this one is so very true. If you've ever seen The Pursuit of Knowledge, you should always sacrifice the look of being stupid or any type of look of being humiliated, because once again, like the book says, it's better to look uninformed than to be uninformed. If you don't know something, speak up. There's no such true thing as a stupid question, just stupid timing. That's really the truth. So definitely look towards always asking the questions if you want to look towards becoming more knowledgeable, having a further understanding, because information is key to whenever it comes to making decision makings. If you look to any of his laws on intuition or previous times before that, you understand that knowledge and information is a major part whenever it comes to making a business decision or action behind whatever leadership direction that you're going to go into. He basically talks about how questions unlock doors and unlocks doors and opens books that otherwise remain closed. Whenever you ask questions, whether it's to an individual in your team, whether it's to a business person in a partnership, or even just a general client, it ends up opening ideas to a further understanding between what it is that they might be looking for, an opportunity in order to essentially either move in towards selling your product, and so on and so on and so on. If you've ever heard questions are the answers, that basically means that if with enough questions you can understand how a person thinks, which means that you can understand how he reacts. And that's not just true to everyone else, but also specifically yourself as a leader. So questions are the most effective way to connect with people. That's what you need to take away from. Whether it's your team, clients, and people in general, once again, the way conversations go, it's not just by a bunch of people saying statements. They initiate through a bunch of questions, and learning how to position and ask the right ones at the right time are always going to benefit you in order to put yourself at the right advantage, whether it's through understanding how to react to a situation better when it comes to actions or leadership, or just generally being a little bit more informed on what future upcomings might happen. So no matter what situation you are, make sure that you're an individual who might not necessarily be the loudest, but definitely the person asking the most thought-provoking questions, not only for yourself, but to everyone around you, in order to get the most benefit of your situation, to ensure that you're always learning, you're always looking towards getting the upper advantage in every single situation. So some of the questions that he asked, there are a lot more in the book, but I broke them down to the ones that I think are the most personal and the most effective towards what it is that you can apply as soon as possible. So the first one is, as a leader, ask yourself, the first question that you should ask yourselves, am I investing in yourself? If your team is lacking and you're not getting the results that you're looking for, or you're thinking that you might need to replace them, before you do anything, look towards investing into yourself. The team is a reflection of their leader. If you feel as if you have poor members on your team, if you know the law of magnetism, you attract the people that are like you. So if you see people with low integrity, low loyalty, low work ethic, look towards developing yourself before you start developing a team or changing the team specifically. Because chances are you are the individual who's mimicking these types of reactions and these types of character traits. If you do find yourself being an individual who is struggling, who is having these problems, then definitely look towards plugging into a mentorship. Good leaders learn from great ones. So always understand a person that you can learn from. If you don't have the opportunity for that, then look towards reading books, watching videos like this, and overall giving yourself your own notes and stuff like that you can genuinely apply within your life. You want to actively looking towards consistently becoming a better person in order to develop as a better leader. Next question that you should ask yourself as a leader is, am I genuinely interested in others? So many people come disingenuous whenever they talk to their team, whenever they talk to their people. If you've ever seen a management trying to fake connection with its people, chances are that person sounds disingenuous. Now, the way that you solve that is by figuring out if you truly do or do not care about an individual. And the truth is, every member of your team should be someone that you have a relative care for. So look towards developing that, and the only way you develop that is through spending quality time with that person, understanding and connecting with he or she on what her goals, aspirations, and dreams are in the short-term, medium, or long-term future. If you can understand what it is that they're looking to achieve, then you can look towards fulfilling in the gaps in order to make sure that he or she is getting there faster, sooner, rather than later. The third question that you should ask yourself as a leader is, your goal is to lift people up, and are you doing it effectively? You're always looking towards building confidence, not taking away. Now, I understand there are certain time periods with your team or with the people that you're working with that it might be time to reprimand, scold, or develop. But you never want to take away an individual's confidence. As a leader, you're a person who's there to motivate its people. Expect everybody to not feel motivated to do the task that you guys are setting out to do. You as a leader, the person with the vision and the goal in mind, your number one job is to make sure that people's agendas stay on completing the task. And the best way to do that is by keeping them motivated. The only way to do that is through connecting. Because through connecting, you understand what it is that they're looking towards achieving, and essentially you can figure out how you can orientate the overall goal to help achieve their overall goal. The next thing is to ask your team. The questions that you should ask is, what do you think? These are some questions that you should riff back and forth, especially with the leaders within them. What is it that you think about so-and-so's idea? There are so many times that a different perspective can give you a different outlook, different answer, and different strategy whenever it comes to dealing with a certain problem. The next one is, how can I serve you? A best leader's trait is to serve the rest of the team. Don't mistake this with a doormat leadership where you get stepped over, but your job is certainly to serve the needs that are necessary for the team in order to succeed. And the best way to understand that is recognizing what it is that you need to serve. The next one is, what did you learn? Understanding the progressiveness of your team is so very important to a leadership. Judging its level of development is very important as much as achieving the goal. If the team's goal is to stay together, you guys constantly need to be looking towards developing, because the one that is, there's no team that stagnates. They're either driving closer to as their goal or stagnating and dying for getting further away from it. Finally, what is it that I need to know? I think this question is great, especially if you're running a business, especially if you're running in a high D personality, high level sales, high level business, where you don't necessarily get informed on everything that is happening. It's very important to set aside certain time periods, certain time frames to sit down, discuss, and ask the question, what is it that I need to know? What is it that I need to know to make sure that I can do my job and you can do your job effectively? The next one is, what can I learn from myself successfully? What can I do to lead myself successfully? First of all, don't let ego, pride, or insecurity get in your way. This is probably the most important thing. So many people think ego is great, and I 100% agree with that. I think ego, pride, they're perfect. They drive you and ensure that you have that feeling of level of deserving of success, and you're going to do the work in order to follow it. But the biggest thing that ego can kill is teachability. Learn to turn off your ego. There are some times to learn, sometimes to speak. And understanding and discerning the difference comes from being able to turn off your ego. Remember, you can always learn from someone. Anything from anyone. Just remember to be careful on who you take direct advice from. That's basically the understanding behind I took this quote. Finally, how can I resolve conflict and lead challenging people? If you've ever been a leader before and you've understood there are certain personalities that you need to juggle that might just clash with either you, yourself, your team, and everybody else within it, these are some simple questions to ask yourself. The two questions are, can this person change? The second person is are they willing to change? If both those answer is no's, then you should look towards understanding, figuring out what that person wants to achieve from being in this group. If you recognize that the agendas don't align and what their goal is completely far left or far wing outside of what it is that the team is genuinely looking to accomplish, then you should look towards politely distancing yourself from this person. Not necessarily burning bridges, but maybe taking time apart. There's a saying that is always, change a team, change a team. This is always relative to if you're not attending or achieving the goal. So always ask these types of questions to yourself to make sure that you're always on top of the ball and understand what it is that your team needs to develop, who is willing to change, who's willing to give up, sacrifice more and more in order to achieve the goal that everybody is looking to set out to accomplish. There is only one way to lead leaders. It's to become a better leader yourself. Good leaders learn from, don't follow poor ones, and people naturally only follow leaders that are stronger than themselves. If your team is struggling, the first place you need to look towards is yourself. If you feel as if your team is perfect, then you might be lacking diversity. So look towards what you might be missing in the link. If you feel as if you're still perfect in both aspects, write down your ideal perfect follower and perfect leader and see if the character traits that you write down match. Chances are you will always be lacking. In fact, you always should, because you should always be striving towards being perfect, but you will never ever achieve it. Once you do this level of reflection, evaluation on yourself and your team, no matter what, you'll be one step closer towards achieving the goal that you guys have set out to achieve, and from there, developing a level of success. Anyways, guys, I'm Chris On. Thanks for watching Quick Notes. on Good Leaders Ask Great Questions by John C. Maxwell. I highly suggest you don't stop there. Keep looking at the other videos we have on the channel. There are a few more which comes to by John C. Maxwell, so I highly suggest you check out. Read the book in order to get a further in-depth understanding about it. But other than that, guys, keep striving to put yourself in a better position and a better improvement for success. I'll see you in the next one.